The National Assembly may consider the funding request made by President Muhammadu Buhari for the 2019 general elections next week, but the pending budget has a lot of strings attached to it. Acting Director General of the DSS, Matthew Seyifa, assures Nigerians that the service is committed to promoting and protecting national interests above individual interests. And also, Senate President receives some chairmen of political parties. Well, thanks for joining in, everyone. This is Politics Today live on Channels Television. I'm Sure Kimbaloye in Lagos. The 2019 election is 190 days away. We will be talking about the crucial preparatory events leading to the election. It is obvious that the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has a lot on its plate right now. The election budget, the issues of vote buying, menace, PVC collection, making the card reader function to capacity, blocking loopholes that can compromise the integrity of the commission. There is a whole lot. I can go on and on. So INEC Chairman, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, says that the commission has received assurances that the Senate could reconvene as early as next week to consider the budget for next year's general elections. That was yesterday. Today, the chairman of INEC, Professor Yakubu, and some national commissioners and directors of the commission met with members of the Nigerian Communications Commission, NCC, on electronic transmission of election results, all still in line with the preparations ahead of the election year. Well, on the streets yesterday were some campaigners. They were in protest. The not too young to run campaigners have listed conditions for political parties to get votes from youths. They are demanding for considerations for young disabled candidates and specified numbers of legislative seats at federal and state levels. They are also asking political parties to do away with automatic tickets and imposition of candidates.
The parties need to take intentional steps to give young women and young men and young persons with disability tickets. For all legislative seats, we need 30% of legislative seats across the country, as well as 109 seats in the federal house. Because if democracy is about majority, we constitute majority of the voters.
Well, that was on the streets yesterday, and it will form part of our conversation tonight on the program. So today, the Senate President, Dr. Bukola Saraki, has met with chairmen of 45 political parties in his office at the Senate chambers in Abuja today. The Senate President, however, renewed his call for an investigation into the invasion of the National Assembly by operatives of the Department of State Services. The Senate President says Nigerians need to know the fact of what happened and those behind the incident. In an apparent correction of what could have led to the sacking of the immediate past Director General of the Department of State Services, the Acting Director General of the agency, Mr. Matthew Seyifa, is assuring Nigerians that the service remains committed to protecting national interests above individual interests. The Acting Director General of the DSS, who took charge of the agency following the sacking of Mr. Lawadora, also promised that the service will respect and uphold the legitimate rights of all Nigerians.
Of course, we are cognizant of the fact that this is a democratic dispensation. As we will ply our trade within the tenets of democracy, rule of law, and in consonance with global best practices. One thing is to get the intelligence, another one is to analyze the intelligence, to guide policy formulation, to guide security management.
So some breaking news right here on Channels Television. We will bring in to you from the National Assembly, House of Representatives to reconvene next week, Tuesday, August the 14th. The Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, Mr. Yusuf Lasson, disclosed this today in Abuja. He says the agenda will primarily be the presidential budget request to fund INEC's operations for the 2019 polls. The National Assembly had been on recess since July the 24th. Breaking news right here on Channels Television. House of Representatives to reconvene next week, Tuesday, August the 14th. So with Channels Television, we will dwell more on that as the hour goes by, and we'll give you details on Channels Television. So, Mr. Sefa, who is the acting DG of DSS, had his first press briefing there that you saw in Abuja since assuming his new position. So, 2019 election is right here in terms of the days. It's about 190 days to the election. We're talking about the budget of that election. A lot of what went down in the room with the leadership of the National Assembly and the leadership of the Electoral Commission, INEC, we're not privy to. But tonight, we may get a sense of where exactly we are going. And some of this news breaking right here may give us a clue to that. Let's get the conversation started on the program tonight. I have the Chief Press Secretary to the INEC Chairman, Mr. Rotimi Oyekanmi, who joins us from our Abuja studio. Also, there in Abuja on the panel tonight is a co-convener of the Not Too Young to Run campaign, Choma Agwuegbo. Both of them will be talking to us on the program. And let's begin the conversation around the 2019 election. Mr. Oyekanmi, were you promised by the National Assembly that the 20 elections budget will be passed next week?
Thank you, Seun. As you have rightly said, yesterday we had a meeting with the leadership of the two chambers of the National Assembly. And we discussed a number of issues, and we have the assurances that the budget will be passed very soon. So
it's 242 billion naira. That is the budget that is being proposed by INEC for this election. What are the other things that you discussed that perhaps you can tell us on the program tonight?